Terry, and you're watching Terry Tells the Story. Today, we're talking about the perfect family vlog that was actually a house of horrors. In August of 2023, a 12-year-old boy climbed out of a window in Irvins, Utah, his home, with heavy-duty duct tape still fastened around his emaciated wrists and ankles. He was covered in open sores and clearly malnourished, but he didn't run to find his mother. He ran to a neighbor to beg for food and water. When the neighbors saw the condition of the child and the restraints on his limbs, they immediately called 911. The boy was the son of Ruby Frank, a woman who had spent years building a digital empire as a principled parenting expert on her massive YouTube channel, 8 Passengers. To her 2.3 million subscribers, Ruby Frank was the gold standard of discipline and family values. For nearly a decade, she documented the lives of her 6 children, selling the image of a perfectly controlled household. But behind the high-definition camera, she was running a systematic house of horrors. Following the boy's escape, a police raid on the home of Ruby's business partner Jody Hildebrandt uncovered Ruby's 10-year-old daughter hiding in a closet. Both children were so emaciated that medical professionals later compared their condition to that of concentration camp survivors. The details of the torture revealed during the investigation were calculated and chillingly cruel. This wasn't just neglect. It was a deliberate attempt to break the children's spirits. The 2 youngest children were the primary targets of a regime where they were regularly denied basic human rights, including food and water, as a primary form of punishment. Ruby's own journals later revealed that she would punish them specifically for secretly consuming water when they were desperate. Inside the home, the children were forced to perform manual labor that functioned like a desert work camp. They were made to work outside in the brutal Utah summer heat for hours at a time without shoes or socks. This resulted in severe second-degree burns where the skin was literally sloughing off and forming deep, infected blisters. When the children's bodies finally broke under the strain, the care that they received was nothing short of sadistic. Ruby and Jody treated the open wounds by pouring honey and cayenne pepper directly into the raw, exposed flesh before wrapping them back up in duct tape to keep the children working. After a previous escape attempt, the 12-year-old boy was regularly bound by his hands and feet with multiple sets of handcuffs. These restraints were tightened so severely that they cut through the skin, causing permanent damage to the muscle and the tissue. Even while being tortured, the children were subjected to psychological warfare. Using the Conexion's philosophy, Frank and Hildebrandt convinced the children that they were possessed or evil. They were told that the physical agony and starvation were the only path to repentance, and that the abuse was actually an act of love intended to save their souls. Perhaps the most haunting part of this story is that the warning signs were visible for several years. Viewers had previously flagged videos where Ruby withheld lunch from her 6-year-old, or bragged about taking away her teenage son's bed for months. Despite thousands of people signing petitions for child services to intervene, the YouTube algorithm continued to boost her content because her strict persona generated massive engagement. In February of 2024, the verified mask was permanently stripped away. Ruby Frank and Jody Hildebrandt both pleaded guilty to 4 felony counts of aggravated child abuse. They were both sentenced to 4 consecutive prison terms, facing a maximum of 30 years behind bars. This case stands as the ultimate horrific warning of how the digital attention economy can provide a perfect cover for a monster hiding in plain sight. So you're in for a treat today, because the Spanish lesson will actually be delivered by none other than my niece.
El café en una taza, the coffee in a cup.
If you like this video or you learned something new, drop a like down below. If you have a specific topic you'd like to see me cover, drop me a comment. And if you'd like to support this work that I do, there'll be a link to the Cash App in the description box below. We'll see you next time.